What are the benefits of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu beyond just self-defense and physical conditioning? And oftentimes I explain to people that there's so many more benefits than just those two that are the most apparent. And what I mean by that is what Brazilian Jiu Jitsu taught me, and it's helped me in life, and I believe will help you in life, and your children in life, is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu teaches you resiliency, problem solving, and never, ever, ever quit, as Winston Churchill once said. Never, ever, ever quit. So what I mean by that is that when you come into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, you are going to train with people who are bigger and stronger than you are. You're going to train with people who are younger and faster than you are. I can tell you that I turned 56 in a couple months. One of my constant problems is, man, I deal with people who are both younger and faster and stronger than me. And also, a problem comes along with more skilled in some cases. You're going to go through your journey and it's like you're going to meet people in jiu-jitsu who are more skilled than you are. And that's not just in jiu-jitsu, but that's in life in general. You're going to run into problems. And when I say never, ever, ever quit, that's not, I don't mean to say like, hey, I would never tap when I get caught in a submission in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Never, ever, ever quit is I am not going to just give up. If I get caught in a submission, I realize, I can't get out of this, or I'm being choked, or the joint lock, or whatever the submission is. And just like in a chess match, I acknowledge, hey, it's checkmate, you got me, but I don't give up chess. I come back and play again. And some people might say, well, you get the same kind of problem solving with chess or with Rubik's Cube. You could look at Rubik's Cube. It's definitely not easy. It's very mentally stimulating and challenging. You have to figure out solutions. But the difference is in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have a problem and you're trying to figure out a solution. In some cases, you're on the bottom and you got a 400-pound person on top of you. And it's like, that will encourage you to really start delving into some problem solving and looking for solutions. And sometimes you're going to look for solutions and your idea is going to turn out to be a bigger problem than the situation you was in. And that's how it works in life, is you get pressured and you're going to have one or two choices. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to find a solution. I'm going to work harder, find answers to this problem, or I'm going to quit. And so when you go through your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu journey, you're going to have a lot of opportunities where you're going to be like, man, this ain't for me. I'm not that good. Like when I was a white belt, no one watched me as a white belt and said, man, that's Saad. He's the next Hoist Gracie. Matter of fact, I was terrible. Like I was a white belt for 4 years. I entered probably 6 or 7 tournaments. My wife, Sway, she would dutifully go with me to these tournaments, and I lost every single match I was in. Not only did I never win a tournament in 4 years of being a white belt, I couldn't even win a freaking match, which was just very humbling. And so I say all that to say that it taught or reinforced the importance of resilience and problem solving with me. Because when I went on to blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, and black belt, not only have I won matches in each one of those belt levels, but I've won major tournaments at each one of those belt levels and placed in the Master Worlds multiple times. But had I quit when I was a white belt, that I couldn't even win a match, let alone a tournament, I wouldn't have reached this point. And then plus, I'd have a different career because I own my school here in San Antonio, Texas. This is my full-time job with my wife, who's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So it teaches you both problem solving and resilience. And how do you apply that to other areas of life? Well, great question. And I'm glad you stuck around this long to find that answer. And the example I'll give you is social media. Like, I created this YouTube channel for the business probably 6 or 7 years ago. But I didn't start actively posting videos to grow the channel until like maybe 3 years ago. And like, although I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, I'm a white belt at social media in YouTube studio creations. You know, maybe after 3 years of going at it pretty hard, and maybe I'm a white belt with 2 stripes. I don't know. But I don't think I'm even a blue belt at social media level. And the cool thing is, well, sometimes not so cool, I'll get comments down below where people be like, oh man, you talk too long, or you should edit your videos better, or you don't know what you're talking about. So it can be very humbling, sort of like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When you're in here and you're being choked by somebody, very humbling. Or you have to tap and you're like, oh, or you're just cardioed out, you've given it your best and you just can't get the win. But just like in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, with YouTube, I stuck with it. I started asking friends, because it turned out that I had friends who were pretty good at YouTube, and they had their own channels. And I'm like, hey, how you doing this? I didn't have, you could pay for a consultant to help you do it. But I just started asking friends. It turns out I had friends or family or people in here who were, like had some social media knowledge, or, had big YouTube channels, and they shared their knowledge with me. Same thing that I do in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, as a white belt, when I didn't have a solution, I could ask the head instructor, but I could also be like, hey, I could ask a blue belt or a purple belt. It's like, you just caught me in this choke. I don't know what happened. Where did I go wrong? And a lot of times they can help you and say, well, okay, well, this is where you went wrong. And maybe somebody could share with you, like, oh, and this is how you could defend it to improve the situation. And then you go back to the drawing board and you try it again. And it's like, sometimes it'll fail again. Then eventually you keep fine tuning it, you keep trying it. And it's like, it's working for me. I'm no longer being caught in this situation. Like, I know as a white belt, I struggled with hitting the arm bar from closed guard. Like, there was a lot of people who were really good at it. And for me, I was just always awkward. And I really struggled with it. And I had to work with people, not only my instructor, but, with like other students who would help me, give me little tips, ideas on how to improve my arm bar. And then I worked on it again and again and again and again, and I failed again and again and again and again. And eventually, the arm bar from closed guard became a very good move for me, and I became very proficient at executing the move. And I started hitting it in tournaments, and I started hitting it, rolling in class, aka sparring. So that kind of persistence pays off, and that was the type of persistence and problem solving that's helped me with my YouTube channel. And the humbling thing is there's people who've been doing a YouTube channel less time than me, who are much more successful, much more subscribers, and people who have been less successful than me in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or at a lower belt rank than me in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they're talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and their channel is much bigger, much more successful. But at the same time, there's people who've been working at this YouTube thing more time than me, and they haven't grown as much at YouTube. Or I got good friends who are much more accomplished, much more knowledgeable in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and their channels are smaller. So don't get caught up with comparison, because comparison can be the thief of joy. And just keep working, keep trying, never give up, and keep trying to problem solve. And that's what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can give you, is the problem solving under pressure, and taking the hits, taking the blows, and keep working through it until you overcome the problem. And so that's how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu can help you in life, and I hope it helps you in life, and I hope we all grow. And if you have any personal stories that you could share, feel free to comment below. And if you like this content, like and subscribe. And if you got any tips for how I could progress past 2-stripe white belt at YouTube channel creation, I would greatly appreciate it. Feel free to make those comments below. All right, until next week, ciao.